using a Raspberry Pi 5 for a full Bitcoin node and Stratum server. This deals with your node and your hash power. And it is inspired by this Twitter post from Solo Satoshi. I mean, I already had the setup going, but this video is inspired by this post. And hopefully I can explain satisfactorily how you would, well, I'm going to explain my setup. I'm going to assume that you already want to do a node and you're just looking for different ways to do it. And there is actually a guy on YouTube who has a number of different ways of doing it. I'll try and put his channel in the information below the video. But I'm doing a do-it-yourself setup, not a out-of-the-box turnkey solution. And those do exist, but my reasoning for the way I went was I'm really trying to learn all there is to know about how Bitcoin works. So this guy is talking about Solo Satoshi that sells lottery miners and other stuff. He's talking about the most important image in the Bitcoin ecosystem. That's this one: your node, your hash power, your wallet. And your node and your hash power are what I'm basically going to be talking about, or my node anyway, and my hash power. So as a Bitcoiner, it is your duty to run a node, hold your keys, own your hash power. Now, whether it's a duty or not, that's neither here nor there. But that's what I'm doing. I'm self-custodying a tiny bit of Bitcoin. And I'm running a node, and I'm running miners on the node. So the dilemma, of course, is the cost. A hardware wallet, a node, home miner is nearly $1,000 combined. I've actually come in well under that, although I don't have the hardware wallet. So, and this link should work. So let me show you, whoops. Let's just zoom in a bit. The bits I got from Amazon. I went with a complete kit. You don't need 128 gigabytes for the SD card. A 32 gigabyte SD card is probably sufficient. A 64 gigabyte certainly is. As far as 8 gigabytes of RAM, I do actually recommend going with that much. Technically, you can go with 4, but it's a bit of a tight squeeze. Also, I've turned off swap so that I won't be putting extra wear and tear on the micro SD card, because I don't know how long they last or how durable they are. And I'm also going with a 2 terabyte external solid state drive. 1 terabyte is enough and will be for a while, but I've got other stuff, so the extra room is very much useful. And also, a 2 terabyte is not hugely expensive compared to a 1 terabyte. So you can think of it as future proofing. It should last longer. And you are going to need an Ethernet cable, because you really want to have this whole setup plugged into your router. The reason for that is you want it running 24/7. Raspberry Pi draws very little power. I've got my hero shot here. Let me just do a better one. This is my physical setup. Got the Raspberry Pi here. There's my drive, and I've got I've got 3 single chip ASIC miners running on this node, and they're from Solo Satoshi. And just to show off their hash power, what am I looking for? Safari. Let's just go to AxeOS. You can see the 3 nodes here, or the 3 miners here, giving a little over 3 terahash. And for the future reference while I'm here, all right, these are the notes I'm working off of to make this video. I didn't do a README file, but this file here is the one I'm displaying. And I'm also going to show an interesting thing. There's this PyBlock project. It's a command line interface thing. You run it in your terminal to monitor your node. And they've got their stuff. So there's that. And I'll put links to both of these in here, but because some of this stuff I'm going to read you, like the Bitcoin conf, setting up the services, CKPool conf. There's some stuff here that's basically, I can read it to you, but this gives you the ability to like literally look at it. For example, the Bitcoin service file. It's like, you don't really want to type all that. And besides, you're likely to want you might want a different name for where you put the stuff. I don't know, the usual. Whoops. I went too far back. All right. So let's go back to the PDF file. So what you're going to want to do when you've got your Raspberry Pi and the hardware, you're going to need to get the Imager software set up and run it. It looks like this. So you'd be choosing your device. Like I said, I've got a Pi 5. For the OS, I went with, I don't need the full I'm running it headless, as you saw in the picture. So Raspberry Pi OS other, I went with this one, the Raspberry Pi OS Lite. And I can't really go through, I don't have any storage hooked up for this to flash to, so no point in really going further here. But you set up your Raspberry Pi here and get your basic configuration. so that you can log in from another computer. Or if you want to run it with a monitor and keyboard attached, you can do that too, but that's not what I'm doing. So, back to the preview. First thing you're going to do once you've got it going is upgrade the packages that are on there. And you need GCC and Git, libboost, libzmq. Tor is useful to have. I'm using Tor. I use Vim for editing. I don't like Nano. For the etc stab, this is where I basically, set up the external disk for being mounted when the machine boots up. And this business here is where I turned off the swap file. Some other useful tools, ARPScan, Nmap. Let's see, should I show you the Nmap? I can show an Nmap. Nmap localhost. And you see the ports I've got running. And I have a little, due to laziness, I got a little script here. You can see how busy the system actually is. It's not that busy. I've got plenty of memory free. And Bitcoin is using the lion's share. And CKPool, I'll get into that because that's what you need for the miners to talk to your node. So, and PyBlock is a useful bit of software. It's also available on GitHub. Over here, curly 60E PyBlock. It's a few small developers working on a passion project to allow you to monitor your node in a friendly way. Because like AxeOS has its way of monitoring your actual miners, PyBlock gives you a way to look at, your Bitcoin miner core. Let's see, let's just randomly pick a Pierce monitor. See if that does anything. Oh dear. Not liking that. I've got the development version on here. I probably should have gotten a release version here. See if stats shows up. Yeah. God, I hope you haven't clicked away yet. One of the things you can do is look at the mempool. Oh wait, that's not what I wanted. I wanted mempool monitor. And this one doesn't display very well on my terminal. But anyway, when you're running the node, you can see the various things going on. But let's go back to the various things you need to do. Now, but like I said, this file is on my GitHub so that you can just follow it. I did make my external drive an ext4, a Linux file system drive. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes. You use git to fetch. I'm terribly clumsy with this. Use git to clone the Bitcoin software. It'll go into a Bitcoin directory. And the same thing goes with the pool software. That's the Stratum server. And I've got the basic instructions for building it. If you get errors, it's probably due to missing packages, and you just have to find them and app install them the same way you installed GCC, Git, and the other stuff. And then you need to configure things, because I created a user group and user for both Bitcoin and CKPool. This is good practice because your node is going to be exposed to the network. The Stratum pool is not. This is going to be private. So your miners will be talking to, or miner, you only need one, but the more the merrier, You have one miner talking, or multiple miners talking to CKPool. CKPool talks to the Bitcoin node. So anyway, this page basically talks about getting everything set up. Now, when your Bitcoin core is first started, it needs to go through the initial block download, and that does take time, probably days. I think it took a few days with my network connection. So basically, when you're running a full node, you need good network. You're going to want to use an Ethernet cable rather than Wi-Fi. And you're going to be wanting your Pi to be plugged into a UPS if possible, so that, power outages don't mess with things. So you end up with, like I said, where was I? Yeah. This is basically what I got. It's down in the basement. There's a utility panel up above the frame. And it's hard to make out, but that's a UPS there. So it's power backup in case the lights go out. It'll keep the Pi going for a little while, and my internet connection. These are plugged into power surge protectors, but not into UPS. So, If they go down during a power outage. It's no big deal. So, what have I forgotten? I'll just do a quick fly through here. Hero shot. Yeah. So anyway, you can see it. It's all running quite nicely here. Other things you can do, if you've got it set up properly, let's get out of this. Quit that. You can use Bitcoin command line tool to get block info. Is that the one? Whoops. Get blockchain info. It shows you the latest block, basically, which you can do from PyBlock. You can also get network info. Shows you your connections. I've only got 14 going right now, 4 inbound, but I've been doing some mucking about with this, so yeah. Oh, and it's not showing my Tor address. That's interesting. For some reason, the text gets changed. Okay, so I'm not sure why I'm not getting my Tor info. I can just restart this thing, but I won't. Normally, down in here, you'll get your Tor address. Let's see. I always forget where to find it. Oh, this thing is running very, very slow. And actually, that's... Is that what I wanted? Not sure what's going on here. Let me restart tool. System control. Oh, wait a minute. Sudo system control. Restart Tor. CKPool. And restart the Bitcoin service. Okay, well, actually, another thing you can do, let me stop the Bitcoin service. Whoa, oh, permission denied. See, is it -U for user? Yeah, all right. I'm going to turn on debugging. And then start the Bitcoin service. And where is my debug log file? Demo syndrome. So you want, should be there. Yeah, there's debug log. Ah. so what's this telling me? Okay, Tor control thread start. Oh, I screwed up permissions on the authentication cookie. All right, that's a permissions issue. Isn't that interesting? So, all right. And here I am thinking, what? That's what it's always been. Oh, there's my Bitcoin. There's my hidden service. What did I do? What did I have to do? I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. But you can see every time you restart Bitcoin Core, it has to re-verify a portion of the blockchain. And I'm looking for Tor related stuff in the once it's starting up. Not sure how I missed this. I was running Bitcoin and CKPool under my user account name, and it was only this morning that I bothered to uh, change it to its own user. Okay, got Tor service ID. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. So now we're connecting to things. So we go to get network info, and we have a Tor address, an onion address. And I should restart. CKPool. Okay, so that one's going. And that one's going. And up here we can see they're running, doing their thing. One of the interesting things you can do to see how responsive your Bitcoin node is simply get best block hash. And, oh, responsiveness is terrible. Let me time that. Mind you, it takes time for things to settle in once you've restarted everything. I'm doing a lot better with connections now. Let's pull up a little pi block. And what is it I wanted? Mempool monitor. those are loading. Anyway, you want to go to my GitHub. Bitcoin node is where I got the stuff that you need. If you're interested in PyBlock, that's here. And then for the software, let me just not get the Git part. Okay, so PyBlock is working again. Let's see. All right. Let's quit out of that. Oh wait, I didn't need to quit out of that. Let's just go to its home. It just shows you the latest block. But I wanted to go here and put in just a second. This is the CKPool stuff. I wonder if anyone is still watching at this point. If you're still watching at this point, please comment. I'd be quite amazed. Although maybe I'll edit. Well, I have to merge the audio and whatever video together, but apart from that, I'd be quite surprised. Because I'm not really feeling like trimming this video down. So let's just go back to the title. Using Raspberry Pi 5 for a full Bitcoin node and Stratum server. And it does help to know a little bit about Linux while you're doing this particular thing. You can see I had forgotten to give permission to Bitcoin to use Tor. Oh well. So we'll call this the end of the video, shall we?